Congratulations on tuning in to the Vintage Key Studio lectures. My name is the Noble Head of Sausage, and this is Louisa Revolta. We've made a record, or I call it an LP. Well, it is an LP, but I always call albums LPs, even if they're not even made into an LP. But this is an LP.
Is that because you're old?
Yes, 50 now. We're here today to answer some questions. I don't like answering questions. I don't like being asked questions.
Then I'm going to ask them. We've had some from our channel members, our subscribers. Thank you very much for leaving some questions in the last video. Would you like me to kick us off?
Okay.
Jay Hashville has asked a question about Beach Song, and they would love to know how it came to be.
Well, it was a long time ago. I was 40, and I had my second child, and I was sitting in the kitchen feeding her one day, and I was really fed up, and she probably was as well. And I was feeding her some carrot or something or other, and I started writing a bit of terrible poetry. And I should say, I'd also a few days before had a dream that it went which wasn't really very good by itself. And then I came up with and so I had a tune that came to me in a dream, and then I thought, well, that's not bad. And then I came up with some words while I was feeding the baby. Then I took it to Goose, Louisa, and so she could claim her 25%, she wrote a couple of words. What words did you write?
I wrote a verse. You remember which verse it was?
Probably the last one. Or the second one. I don't know.
Just like to tweak and bring it in line with something that might be a little bit easier
Mostly
to sing.
I write
and it's got a bit of a narrative.
Yes.
I like to have a bit of a narrative for a song.
Mostly I write a unconnected series of statements, sometimes, but mostly it's just the music. So it's usually just the music I write, but sometimes I do write unconnected series of statements that sound like they work well with the tune, and then I throw them at Louisa and she puts them in some sort of order, and then I come back in 20 minutes and see how it's going.
Right.
Yes, so yeah, and that song was recorded various times as a demo, and we used to gig it as well sometimes, and people seemed to quite like it, so we recorded it. But yeah, it's been recorded a few times.
Is Hannah recorded?
Oh yeah, Hannah Castleman, who's has recorded a version of it, which has been out for a while, and we actually did release this back in 2020, briefly, and then it had a video as well, which you filmed in fast motion and slowed down. But I don't know what happened to that.
I took it down.
Oh, was it terrible?
Wasn't very good.
Oh. And anyway, the recording's done with I think it was live piano and singing, and then I put double bass on it and played a nylon string classical guitar, a Yari 1970, and then I put some I improvised strings over the top of it, which sound fairly realistic. Yes. And then that sounded quite nice from the keyboard. That was.
What string sample do you use?
Oh, that would be telling.
Okay.
It's a good one though. You could probably work it out.
Jay Hashville also wanted to know how many saxes are played on a piece of paper, and was it if it was multi-tracked, and that there's a nice cosy room reverb on that.
Oh yes.
It's all me playing.
Yes, that
lots of times.
That
I don't know how
a
many
piece
times.
of paper. It was actually called a piece of paper because I'd written the tune on a piece of paper, and I had this piece of paper, and I thought, well, let's call it a piece of paper, and I basically was sitting at the console over here when it used to be over here, and I remember Louisa, who I will now call Goose from now on, Goose. Was here with her saxes, and I said, right, play this bit. And then I said, now play this bit. And she added a couple of harmonies, and I said, oh, no, do it this way. Do it this way. And then I think I already played the drums on it, and then Goose played electric bass, because she was having a go at that at the time. But she's not doing it anymore.
Who says I'm not doing it anymore?
Mm-hmm. There must be about 20, I think, on there.
Oh, sure. Really? That
Yes.
many?
Oh, yeah. Because
Each part at least doubled or tripled?
Each part's doubled, and then each some of the parts are octaves below, and one or two is an octave higher as well.
Did you pitch shift?
I pitch shifted
tenor?
the tenor sax. So you've got the alto sax, which is the higher sounding one. We do also have a soprano, which is a very high one, but that's not on it. But it's an alto sax and the tenor sax, which is the lower sounding one. And what I did is I put that through a nifty pitch shift thing by Sound Toys called Little Altar Boy, which is a very useful thing, which I also used on another track I'll tell you about in a minute. I've just pitched it down an octave, and it makes it sound like a baritone sax.
Yeah.
And we recorded the whole lot of saxes in that one through a little microphone called the soup can mic, which you may have seen advertised over the years, but it's basically just I don't know if I've got one, hang on.
Yeah, go and get it.
Yes, there it is, it's the soup can mic, and as far as I can remember, I think it's just a can with a piezo pickup stuck to the bottom of it, and then it obviously picks up the sound from that's resonating inside the can. There's a little jack on it, but yeah, that's very useful, and I think
For a good lo-fi.
For a good lo-fi thing. There's another one, in fact, we've been using, which we haven't used on the album, but we have used on the
Last week.
Last week on the Spitfire Sisters Christmas album, which makes everything sound like World War II immediately, and that is the Saxophone, and that's that one there. So a mixture of Saxophone and soup can mic
For a good old-fashioned sound.
really makes your day. We aren't endorsing these products.
No, but if they'd like to send us some free microphones, that would be really nice.
Yes.
We'd use them.
Yes, we would. Oh, reverb on that was a lot of the music on this record. I piped it out of a Bose speaker, which is hidden away somewhere, into the room, and then I had 2 or maybe 4 microphones up high, one on like a big boom stand, and then a couple of other ones in the room, just to capture the ambience, the room reverb sound. Similar to, it was around about the same sort of time that we were recording for Mark Pritchard and Tom York's record, Tall Tales, which has got a lot of the same. In fact, I probably even did some of the same recordings on the same day using the room mics, because Mark wanted me to put a lot of stuff through, like drums and vocals, through the speaker and then in the room. So I think most of the kind of interesting, nice, warm, roomy sounds are the room recorded. Some of them I did actually record at a higher temp or higher speed, and slow them down a bit, so you get a bigger sounding room if you do that. So I think I did that on the You Don't Think About Me saxophone, and possibly on something on Beach Song as well. Yeah, so basically if you record something at a high speed, slow it down, it takes longer to play, and the pitch and the length of everything extends and goes down, including reverb.
Are you ready for another question? Okay. Jay Hashville and also Phoebe, my sister Phoebe, who was the first to give me feedback on the album.
Oh, yes.
Wants to know what sort of equipment you used for the vocals on Dear Carrie.
Oh, yes.
What effect is that?
There's two effects on it.
Okay.
Firstly, we recorded that one. We wrote that one for a songwriting clinic thing that we run. For one of the every month we gather together with a few songwriters, creative people, and we sort of have a chat about songwriting, and we set homework. And it was one of the homeworks, but I think it was just to write something in the style of a letter, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So we wrote this thing. Well, Louisa wrote the words, I wrote the music, and
I'd watched. It was on a series. I'd watched a series. Had you seen it?
Was it Sean Bean?
Sean Bean. Sheen Bean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sean Bean. Yes. Yeah, I did see that. I was good at that.
Yeah, that's what I wrote it about.
Ah. What are we talking about?
The
yes.
The voice on Dear
The
Carrie.
voice on this. Now, this will be done on camera 2.
Was this it's your Eventide?
Yeah. So the first effect on Dear Carrie was Goose was singing. You just sing something. And then I put her vocal live through the Eventide harmonizer, which I've got one here. It's an H949. So it's the one up from the one that Tony Visconti used to use for Bowie and everybody. So if you just sing a note and hold it, and then sing a bit of Dear Carrie.
What did it take, Carrie? What have you done? Taking the life of another one.
So you can hear the pitch difference between the top line and the thing was changing. That's because I was moving. So if you just sing that again.
What did it take, Carrie?
This thing samples, it's constantly sampling a tiny little fragment of audio, and then it enables you to take that and then lower the pitch or raise the pitch. And so as Goose was singing on that, I was manipulating the pitch of the lower voice. If I'd have been even richer than I am, which is not hard, I would have had the keyboard attachment for this, and you could actually play notes on the harmonizer via the keyboard and then play along with something. It's something, I think it's probably fairly easy to make one, so I might make one day. But as it is, that's how I did the kind of thing that makes her sound a bit like Miss Piggy. I went for this sound because it's a very primitive digital device from the mid to late 70s, and it was around about the time that this blew up, and it got sent away to a man called Andy Jury, a synth prof, who managed to mend it again. But yeah, obviously these old things sometimes go a bit wrong, and.
Is that nearly 2 years?
Oh, it took 2 years to fix the thing, but he was the only person in the whole country who would get anywhere near it to look at it. He said, "Oh no, they're very, very difficult to set up," but he managed to do it. So if you ever have something incredibly old and early digital that doesn't seem to work properly, he might be the guy to speak to. I will do a bit more of a demonstration on this at some other point, but it does other stuff than pitch. But that's the main reason I got one, because he does all that stuff that you can hear on Sound and Vision, David Bowie, the drums that go ray gun snare, I think they called it. Sort of like those. Anyway, yeah. So that's the first effect. The other effect I used was a thing called. It was Little Altar Boy, the same one that I used on the saxes. I used it on the Dear Carrie, the whole mix of the vocals, and then just changed the formant. So it goes like that, just to make Goose sound as terrible as possible.
Jay Hashford also says that they keep hearing more instruments and flutes and strings. Were these live instruments or were there some mellotron? It's funny I mentioned that earlier. Did you use any mellotron on this album?
Yes, there's mellotron clarinets on Glisten, and I think that's it. I don't know if there's anything else. Yeah, I think, mellotrons. The other ones are just sort of sample. I did use a sample library of for the Dear Carrie. There's an oboe sound at the end, and actually maybe there's a mellotron on that as well. Mellotron, yeah, because I quite like the mellotron clarinet because it actually does sound quite realistic if you blend it in with other things.
You had a real string group playing.
Oh yes. Yes.
Glisten.
Glisten had real strings on it. It had Kath Roberts playing violins, and she played, I think, a couple of violin parts I'd written out. And then Saran Davies, who played cello, she played the viola parts on the cello and then also played the cello as well. And then I played double bass, bowed double bass on there. And Goose played flutes. And I think I added, so there's mellotron on there as well. I added the mellotron clarinet sound on that. So yes. Very useful. If only we had a real one here. It's the one thing that's eluded me all these years.
What would you do if you had one?
I'd probably be very upset because it'd be constantly maintaining it. I'll probably get obsessed with it and not speak to anyone for 4 weeks.
Sounds about right. Johnson Monson would like to know the story behind the cover artwork.
Ooh.
Especially the lettering in the background, which fun is part of. This photo is 10 years old. It was taken at a Goodwood revival. I was working there with the Spitfire Sisters, so we were all dressed up like this.
In the southeast of England.
In the southeast of England, yeah. It's a fantastic weekend. But I think you can sort of see how I was feeling by the expression on my face. I was stood in front of. This is actually part of a fun fair.
Well, it was her funeral car.
So my colleague and friend Anna Harding captured this moment with her.
There is a bigger version of the picture with legs.
Yeah, and I've got jelly shoes and a fuzzy handbag. So yes, that was. Yes, we couldn't decide what to title the album, but I think that this picture did it for us.
Yes. Yes, we should have called it Real Fun, which is an anagram of funeral.
Yes.
I do like a good funeral.
That's lead me on to my next question. I would like to ask you, how much measurable fun did you have making this album, and could you please give your answer to the nearest millimetre?
I had measurable fun.
Hold your mug.
Only, I'd say, probably about 9.1 centimetres
Okay.
of measurable fun, which is that.
I've got some questions from Hannah B. How long has it taken to assemble the songs for the album?
28 years. Yeah, because Glisten, I wrote Glisten 28 years in 1997.
Yeah.
Shall I tell the story? I was sitting I was sitting in my then studio room years ago, and the dog was in the garden, and it was a fresh spring morning with dew on the grass, dew drops on the grass, not a dew on the grass. And I saw the dog do its business, and I saw it, and it glistened in the summer sun. Well, it wasn't summer, it was spring. Anyway, so I came up with the line "glistening in the summer sun," and I wrote this song called what was it called? Zar, I think I called it in the end. CZAR, possibly. It's on an LP that I made around about then, 97, 98, called Pude, Pude, which I'm going to put on a record at some point, because it's got the classic erotic hallucinations brought about by prolonged exposure to a toolbox song on it. But yeah, the song was on that album, but it didn't have all the words. It was just like, again, it was a random series of statements to music. And I wrote the song as well using a guitar that I'd completely detuned to something, because I got perfect pitch, and I've got used to how a guitar sounds tuned normally with the E, A, D, G, B, E. Tuning it completely weirdly throws me so much that I lose all my bearings, and I don't know what I'm doing. So I wrote that song, and it was like finding new chords. I didn't know what they were called, or didn't know what they were, what they were. And yeah, I remember that. So anyway, that was what Glisten was 28 years ago.
And that's the oldest, I think, of well, certainly there's been songs that we've worked on together for probably about 10 years.
Yes, yeah. I mean, there's probably little snippets of things I put in there that I wrote when I was like 5, but yeah, I think things you have in your mind for a long time.
What are your favourite tracks? Do you have any favourite? Do you have favourites for this album? A favourite, if you had to choose one?
I rather like the first song, "Make Your Way Back Home," because of the shouty screaming, and I used the Epiphone Casino through an amp and through a Leslie on that one, trying to pretty much rip off the Beatles' Abbey Road sort of guitar sound off of most of what they did on them was put through a Leslie. So you got that the bit that goes to that Alberti bass sort of thing, but on the guitar. So I like that one, and I like quite like Petals. Petals was a song that another one that I dreamed, because I'd watched an episode of What We Do in the Shadows, where Nandor he sends an email because he gets a round robin poison pen letter type email, whatever you call them, Bloody Mary, something like that. He sends it away, and then it says mail a demon, comes back like you used to get with mail a daemon, and something about a demon. And anyway, I must have gone to bed that evening and it mixed up, and then when I woke up I had the line, "There are petals in the shadows where the demons do not go," with that, but it was just "There are petals in the shadows where the demons do not go." Luckily I didn't have to sing it, But it's very annoying if I think of a tune like that, and then in the morning when I'm really drowsy, have to write it out, because if you hear it, listen to it, it's so it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. There's loads and loads of rests in it, so it's a right nightmare. And by the time I got to the end, I've forgotten how it goes. But no, I don't know about you, but I tend to dream quite a bit of music, and it wakes me up, and I have to write it down. So that was that one, and I did there. So that probably those two are the ones I quite like. Well, I like all of them really, but beach song's nice if I'm in the mood for it. I quite like A Sexy Gathering as well. That one that was influenced by a film I saw called The Witch. I don't know what the Italian name for it was, but it's 1966, The Witch. And there's a bit in it with a woman and a bloke, and he's taking her clothes off, but he's doing it with his teeth. And in the background, there's this bongos going on. So that's why I did the. That's why it's called A Sexy Gathering, I think. Well, I can't remember.
Phoebe would like to know how you made the voice echoey in I'll Alter Him. And she said it sounds very natural, like you're in a church.
Oh, that was just the room.
Was it?
Pretty much. Yeah, I think so, pretty much. Actually, thinking.
No, you would have added it. That's far more echo than the room would have provided.
Yeah.
What did you do for that?
That one was, I think that was a combination of the spring reverb thing I've got here that I made with a tape delay, and then very likely I just added something else like an Altiverb patch or something rather. I don't seem to have Altiverb anymore, but Altiverb is quite a useful tool and incredibly expensive. But no, it's mainly spring reverb and room. What I like to do on certainly because obviously I use Logic to record everything with these days. I try to use like basic building blocks for things rather than using a plugin that's called Nice Reverb or whatever. I just use a stock reverb, like an echo plate, and a stock tape delay or something rather, and some other like building blocks, and just put them all together and muck about with them until you get something good, rather than trying to rely on someone else's invention of an amazing reverb that which billed as an amazing reverb, but you actually listen to it, you could probably just make it yourself by piecing together some parts and sticking them all in there. I made an incredible reverb the other day by putting I usually do tape delay and then add a reverb after that. So you've got a voice saying the word bum, and it goes bum, bum. But if you can imagine that with tape delay, the second bum, but then going through a reverb instead of just being a pure bum. So it was bum and then bum. But I got a really good one the other day by putting that the other way around. So putting the delay on first, and then put the reverb on first, and then putting the delay on afterwards, and you get this sort of like bum. So it's often a good thing to just mess about with, even if you just have the standard effects in a DAW, DAW. Just mess about with what's there before you start thinking, I think I need to buy loads of reverbs and things, because a lot of the time, some of these things I find that you put them on, they just sound slightly different. Like an EQ or something has just been put on. And I thought, I could have done that myself. What was the question?
I think you've answered whatever question that was.
Okay.
Did you use any unusual instruments on the album? Probably. Does it? Yeah, what features on it?
It's actually mostly all quite straightforward. Because I'd been doing another album. The other album I put out a few years ago called The Vintage Keys Collection, with a picture of me on the front with a spider, which is currently, I'm putting it slightly together in a different way now, because there's some extra tunes I never finished that I wanted to put on it. But that's got all the kind of Angeline and various things on it. But this album's mainly just guitar, bass, drums, organ. Don't even think there's any harpsichord on it. I think it's all quite standard stuff. Yeah, I can't think of any interesting instruments that it would have had on it. Oh, it's more the way I recorded everything on this one. It's like the song "The Snake," the last song on it. I recorded using a hollow bodied sort of 335 type guitar in my parents' lounge using a free 4-track app on my phone, and then multi-tracked it, but not with the speaker on and not with headphones, as it was telling you to use headphones. So I used the speaker just so it all sounded feedbacky and boxy and terrible. And then so I used that terrible sound and then sent it to Goose. She sang on it like through a shoe or something. And then I took it and then added real drums and guitars and stuff in here and made it sound a bit better. But yeah, I think mostly it's just funny ways of recording things.
Was that when had you played it back through your phone inside a glass? Was that sort of time?
I remember. I might have. Yeah, maybe I did.
I don't know if you recorded it. Maybe it was just to get a feel for the thing.
I can't remember now. I do remember doing that with a glass. Maybe it was that one then.
What's next?
A nice cup of tea. Well, I've got some more songs. Do you want to do another one?
For another 10 years? We've probably got enough songs and definitely enough starts of songs for another album.
Oh, well, a couple of things. One thing that someone said to me is that the album sounds very confused.
Oh yes. Somebody else had said, what would say your style or genre would be?
And there isn't one.
No.
And then if you listen to the Beatles' White Album, there's not a style there. Or Sgt. Pepper, really. There's nothing there. But if you listen to In Excess's Kick, there is a style there. And if you listen to... but yeah, if you listen to early Black Sabbath, it does all sorts of different... Especially the album with Going Through Changes on number 4. That's all over the place. And the one after that with the Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath on it. You bastards! Yeah. So there's no genre.
No genre. So that's not that. How would we?
I think.
Which section in HMV would we find ourselves in?
The cheap section, probably.
Bargain bin.
Yes. I just wouldn't be in HMV out of sheer
Principle.
Disgust. 50 quid for an LP. Used to be £5.
One final question. How important to you is it that we talk about this album and raise some awareness for your work, our work?
Not very. I do like to raise awareness, though. Just generally. Is that it?
Yeah.
Well, I hope you've enjoyed this very boring conversation we've been having here. And thank you very much for all the 30 people who will watch this.
If you've made it this far, well done. Well done. Gold stars to you.
Send your complaints to Louisa Revolta at goose.com.
Oh, can I ask another question? What's the bloody point?
It's a difficult one. You know, I don't think there is a point.
No?
No, to anything. No bloody point whatsoever. In fact, I'm going to go.
You've been watching Vintage Key Studio. Good night.